When I first embraced Islam in Bahrain, so if we go back to episode 1, if you had listened to that, you'd obviously know my story, moving across to Bahrain and after 6 months making my shahada and so on. Now, during that time I was learning how to pray in Arabic, and I had all these little pieces of paper, and that's fine, and I was saying the words in Arabic, but what do these words actually mean? They were just sounds. When you start the prayer, you say Allahu Akbar, and then you start the first prayer. Now the first prayer is actually a chapter of the Quran. It's a very short chapter, and it's the very first chapter called Surah al-Fatiha, and al-Fatiha means the opening.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Alhamdulillahi Rabbil Alameen. Ar-Rahmanir-Rahim. Maliki Yawmiddin. Iyyaka na'budu wa iyyaka nasta'in. Ihdina as-siratal mustaqim. صراط الذين أنعمت عليهم غير المغضوب عليهم ولا الضالين.
I remember one day I was praying the al-Fatiha Mask and I got really frustrated. It was a really interesting thought, because in that moment, that frustration dissolved into nothingness. And I was, just feel it. If the imam who is leading the prayer has a beautiful heart, a soft heart, a gentle heart, a pure heart, a heart filled with hikmah, wisdom, heart is the source of wisdom. That's a whole other topic, fascinating topic. So this idea has been with me for all of these 22 years. And I believe that you can actually tell the health of the heart of the individual who's reciting it. So if their heart has been polished on a regular basis, if it's been purified and what have you, if it's a sound heart, spiritual heart, then yeah, it's the most beautiful sound. Now I want to take you to a time when I first moved back to Australia. It was in 2011, and I'd taken a position with the ABC. So I'd left Dubai by this stage, took a position presenting mornings in South Australia. And this one particular day, I was invited to go to a Loxton ladies club. So where is Loxton? Loxton is in the Riverland of South Australia, and Loxton is a beautiful old historic village, and it has a great deal of history there. And so I'm invited to speak to these beautiful ladies. I would say the average age must have been maybe 80. And there I am telling the story of life and what it's like, as a woman living in the Middle East and what have you. And then at the very end, there was this little old lady. I said, does anybody have any questions? And this little old lady puts her hand up. She goes like this. And I said, yes. And she said, dear, what does the prayer call sound like? And I said, well, Gregorian chants? And they all go, yes. They all nodded their heads. And I said, well, it's nothing like that. And they're like, oh. And, but I said, but when you listen to a Gregorian chant, they're like, yes. And you may not necessarily understand what's being said, but you can appreciate the beauty in the vibration and the sound. They're like, And that's what the Islamic prayer call is like. And if the person has a beautiful heart, particularly, you can actually hear this incredibly beautiful sound. And you hear that 5 times a day through the minarets in Muslim majority countries. And it's very compelling and very, very beautiful. And I thought, okay, done, I've given my answer. And so then there was silence. And then she looks up at me again, same little old lady, and she said, "Dear, can you please sing it for us?" And I felt so self-conscious. And it was in that moment, and I'm having this war in my head. Do I, don't I, do I, don't I? Oh, I feel so self-conscious doing that. It's like, I feel embarrassed. But then there was another part of me that was speaking at a deeper level. These beautiful women, most of whom, I presume, have never heard it before and never heard many of the things that I was sharing with them, ever. And I've just been asked by this beautiful woman, she would have been in her 90s. I've been asked by this beautiful woman to do the prayer call for them. How can you say no? Honestly, how? So I did it. So I got the microphone and I held the microphone here. And I said, okay, I'll do it for you. And I said, just sit with me, stay with me and listen. So I held the microphone in one hand. And you know, it helps when you put your hand on your ear, so you get a better sense of the acoustics and your tone. It's men who do the prayer call, by the way. But for the purpose and context of what I'm sharing with you now, I will do it. So, Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar. So when I finished and I opened my eyes, I was a bit shocked because all the ladies were just, and there was silence, like silence in the room. And it was a moment where they were just still. And I said to them, don't worry about analysing the words. It's the vibration. It's the vibration that is what really speaks to the heart. And it's our spiritual heart that is hearing us. It was the most beautiful experience to have that. And I've never forgotten it. So that was 2011, and what, we're 2026 now. So what an incredible experience that was, to share that beautiful resonance with them. And I'm very grateful for that. And I wanted to share that in this particular episode too, because there's something quite important about the month of Ramadan. There's many, many important things about the month of Ramadan, but the month of Ramadan is when the Quran was revealed.